Hey babes, and welcome to Gore and Gossip. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Nicole, and this is your weekly deep dive into all things terrifying, true crime cases, cold blooded killers, and the occasional creepy conspiracy.
Plus, haunted dolls, cursed mirrors, and that one time your aunt swore her house was built on a portal to the underworld.
If it's bloody, bizarre, or just plain bone chilling, we're talking about it.
And yes, we're bringing the gossip too, because what's a murder without a little side eye?
So lock the doors, light a candle,
and let's get into it. Hey guys!
Hi guys! First, I'm gonna out Jordan so hard right now because right before this, she goes, "All right, are you ready?" And I said, "I'm ready." Promotion. She had no idea what I was talking about.
I'm
If
sorry,
you
guys.
also don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go search that right now and then come back. Because what do you mean you don't know what that's from? I told her we can't be friends anymore because that was horrible.
We're in a fight right now
We
because
are.
I need to do my research.
Yeah. SpongeBob is an integral part of our culture
It is.
and our age. So like let's get it together.
I need to get with it. I need to get with it.
Also, if you guys are watching, look at this drink that I got. Isn't this sick?
It looks so good.
It's really, really sweet. Like, it's actually a little too sweet for me, but like it's watered down a little bit now, so like it's a little bit better. It's a blue raspberry Sprite with, what did I say? With whipped cream, I think. I don't know if it's ice cream or whipped cream. I think it's whipped cream because it's like the way it's staying. So it's like, isn't that like basically a dirty soda, or is that like?
I think that's like a dirty soda, or
Yeah.
it's like a slushy. It looks more like a slushy from
It's
my...
only, yeah, so like the top part would make you think that, but this isn't. Like, it's not slushy at all. It's like actual soda.
So it's definitely a dirty soda then.
Yeah. It's
so
pretty
cool.
good.
And it's from McDonald's?
Yeah, they have it near us. We went because Doug was telling me about it, and I was like, oh, like I'll try it. And I definitely should have just like let him get one and then like me try his, because this is definitely like way too much for me. So I was like, oh, I'll drink like as much as I can. Watch, I'm probably gonna end up drinking the whole thing. I always say like, oh, something's like way too sweet, and then I end up eating the whole thing anyway.
I do the same.
But they also had these like other, I don't know if you've ever seen, they do like occasionally like a shaker fry where like they have like a seasoning for it. So they had one for, I think it was Hunter X, and it's like a new anime. And they had it, and I was like, oh, I kind of wanted to try it, but I didn't try it the last time, like a week ago, when I like went to go get fries one night. And I was like, I don't want to try it. So I got regular fries, but I was like, I think I do want to try it this time. We went and they didn't have it. I was like, damn, I should have tried it when I had the chance. But the last time I tried one of their shaker fries, I didn't like it.
So maybe it kind of saved you money.
Yeah. Probably. I guarantee you I probably wasn't going to like it.
Probably not. I feel like you're kind of picky.
I can be and I can't be. Like, I have my moments. There are certain things where I can be really picky about. Dag is so much worse than me.
That's true. He's very much a picky man.
Yeah, he's a picky eater. He's such a picky eater. It's so funny. My family like has running jokes about it sometimes.
Oh my god.
And he thinks it's funny, so like it doesn't matter.
I love that. I love picking on a man. I love that.
Yeah. He doesn't care. Good. He literally is the most nonchalant person you'll ever meet. He does not care.
I love it. I know that we wanted to talk about Euphoria quickly.
Yes.
Are you liking the new season, or how do you feel about it?
Yeah, okay, so quickly, before we get into Euphoria a little bit, because I am going to probably give out some spoilers. So, like, if you don't want any spoilers, maybe skip ahead a little bit, and we'll see when we start the episode. But I do actually. I think I am enjoying it.
Okay.
I liked season 1. I really liked season 1, really liked season 2. And at first I was like, with the first episode of the season. And then the second episode I was like, okay, they're building right now. Like, that is what's happening. And then this last episode, oh my god, the wedding was, I was like, I knew the wedding was going to be chaotic. I definitely thought that there was going to be more between like Maddie, Nate, and Cassie. Like, the way that they built that, I definitely thought there was going to be more. I did like the way they did it, though, I will say. Like, I like that they showed Maddie's, like, emotion to that degree.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the confrontation or conversation, whatever you want to call it, between Jules and Nate's father was so fucking funny. I literally was dying.
And it was so nice to see Eric Dane again.
I know. And that was what he meant when he like had said that he like didn't want to give up acting, like he was going to do it for as long as he could, and like they really did try to like, you know, they toned him down, and I liked the way that they did everything like for his character, so that way like him being the way he was in this season did make kind of sense, because it was like somebody who was just like rehabbing and like, you know, dealing with all of the shit that he like went through, and like whatever, was just like in a whatever place right now. So like that like truly like helped. But yeah, I am kind of, I won't lie, I'm really excited for episode 4, because the way that they built that up at the end,
oh my god,
we know I don't love Sydney Sweeney for a multitude of reasons. She's just not my favorite actor, like whatever. But I will say her in Euphoria is top tier. Like her performance at the end of that episode was absolutely perfect. It was so good. I can't picture it in either way.
Right. And I'm like, genuinely, I feel like she does her best performances in Euphoria.
Yes.
Like, I saw The Housemaid, hated it. I was like, you're a terrible actress. But in Euphoria, I'm like, she fucking acts her ass off.
I will say with that rom-com that she did with what's his face, like
Glenn Powell.
Yeah, it wasn't so like it wasn't bad. Like it was funny. It was definitely was like what it was supposed to be. And like I thought she did okay in it. I didn't watch The Housemaid because the clips I did see of like previews, I was like, I'm definitely not interested in this. Like this seems like so out of her wheelhouse. I don't think that she's like well suited for this role. However, Amanda Seyfried can make anybody look good, so like
that's exactly what,
you know what I mean. So like whatever there, but like Euphoria, like Cassie, she built that character, and that everything that she has put into that is like just absolutely perfect. Like the ending of that episode where she's just like, what is happening? This is supposed to be the best day of my life. I'm literally like dying because I was like, this is how else would she react to that? Like literally no other way. But be selfish and only care about like herself in that minute while Nate is being like, I'm not gonna get deep into that, but yeah, that was crazy.
Okay, so here's my hot take. I feel like they waited too long.
Yes, because that's the biggest problem.
Because like Euphoria, when it first came out, we were like newly 20. You kind of like kind of partying, kind of like in that space. And now I'm like old, and I'm like, I don't really go out to bars. I don't really go out anymore. Like I'm not crazy like I used to be. And so I come at it with a different lens where I'm like, if my kids ever did this, I would beat their ass.
Well, and here's the thing. So they like jump 5 years ahead. So now they're all early 20s. You know what I mean? So like for me, watching season 1 and season 2 of Euphoria, like being in my early 20s and seeing like them as high schoolers, it definitely was like a little bit of like a different lens, because like I'm a little bit older, I understand a little bit more, you know, whatever. But like still, like I know it's a show, like it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be crazy, like whatever, you know what I mean? Like it was super dope. And then now like so much time has elapsed that like now watching them in their early 20s, I feel like that like old lady that's like, but again, like it's a show, it's fun, you know, you just get into the vibe of the show. But I have to say I'm really enjoying it. I feel like it's the same thing with Stranger Things, with how they waited so long to do it that I almost wasn't interested in watching it, and then had to force myself to. And then once I did, I was like, okay, I am happy that I did end up watching it, because like I ended up really liking it. So
Yeah,
I feel the same way right
I
now.
basically got bullied into watching it because of Nicole and one other person because I was like, I'm not interested. I'm like, I don't know if I can actually watch Rue go through this and fuck up
Ugh,
her life. Like, I'm like, I can't do that. I
I
can't do
know.
that to myself.
Zendaya as Rue. I
Oh,
saw somebody say it
so
like on
good.
TikTok, and they were like, "Rue is Rue, and Zendaya is Zendaya." Like when I see Rue on the screen, like I do not think Zendaya, and I full heartedly agree with that
Mm-hmm.
because again, the character, like everybody who plays that character on like their characters on the show, they do it so well
Oh my
that
God.
I'm like, that character is that person. Like it's none of them are, you know how like you hate the character so bad that you end up hating the actor,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't feel that way about any of them. And I don't know if it's
There.
because so much time has elapsed and we've gotten to see almost the entire cast in other projects,
Yeah.
or and like different personality types like that, or if it's like they just really did that good of a job that like I'm able to like separate them.
Right. That's a good point because
Yeah.
like there's usually I don't really like Glenn Powell at
Yeah.
all. I don't like the way he looks. I don't know, something about it freaks me. Something about him freaks me out. So like I refuse to watch that rom-com with him and Sydney Sweeney and I
That's
like
fair.
there's certain people where I'm just like no, I refuse to
Yeah.
like you, but all of the people in the cast, even despite Sydney Sweeney and her mishaps,
Yeah.
I look at them just as their characters, which is
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
There's a few scenes where I felt like they did not need to show the gagging on the freaking drugs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like that disgusts me.
Yeah.
I had to fast forward that part. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Like spit anything with the mouth. I'm out. I'm out.
That was a little much. That was a little out there. But I do, when you take into full context like how extreme parts of this show get sometimes, like I feel like it really fit that narrative, and I was like, yeah, this is right on par for like what what you would be thinking is happening right now. Did you mute on accident?
Of course I did. When do I not do that? I move my mic too much. I move
I
around too
know.
much.
We touch things too much over here.
I know, seriously. It's the ADHD. I should get like
I
a
know.
fidget toy, actually. There is one on my
I know
coffee
that's what
table.
one of the last times we were recording, I was playing with something and I was like, let me stop playing with this because I'm like, they probably can hear me like in the background.
I couldn't hear it, depending on the episode.
I don't know. I think it was like 2 or 3 ago. I forget when we did it, but I was like messing with something in the middle of the episode and while I'm talking too, like nonetheless.
I love it. I love it. Wow.
Okay.
Guys.
Okay, so I don't know anything about this. Jordan
Mm-mm.
literally texted me and she was like, I just uploaded my episode for this week. She was like, and as she's saying it, I had the notification come up on my phone and I went to go click on it, and immediately she sent another text message and she was like, don't open it. And I was like, good thing you said something because I was just about to.
I like know Nicole like as like because I sent it from my like work email. I was doing this while I was working.
It's okay.
And
She's a boss bitch anyway, so it's fine.
yeah, it's fine. I just multitask. It's totally fine. So I sent it to our Gore&Gossip email, and of course she saw it, and I'm sure she was so excited, being like, "What is Jordan gonna do?" And I'm like, "Do not look at it, because I know he will."
Yes, I do have a bad habit. I'm not even gonna scroll like normally, like while she's
Yeah,
like reading, like I'll scroll down with it. And like occasionally I won't, because like if I really don't know what she's doing, like if I haven't actually looked, like there's been a couple of times I'm like, you know what, I actually really just want to be like surprised. I want her to like just tell it. So I'm not even gonna scroll. I'm not gonna, because I scroll, because when I do, I look ahead sometimes and then you'll hear me gasp before she actually says what's happening. So I'm just not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna listen today.
I tend to do the same too, though. So.
Yeah, we do. We both do the same thing.
So, okay, so this one is pretty brutal, and it discusses extreme violence and attempted murder. And I'm trying not to be graphic with this case. So if you are uncomfortable with extreme violence, maybe this is not the one for you, and you can listen to the next one. But take care while listening, and you can skip ahead because I only mention what happens within like 10 minutes or so. All right, let's get into it. So there are survivors whose stories sound impossible, not because they are exaggerated, but because the human body and spirit should not be able to endure what they did. Mary Vincent is one of these people. In 1978, Mary Vincent was 15 years old, and she was attacked by a man named Lawrence Singleton, who attempted to kill her and permanently changed her body. He expected her to die where he left her, but she didn't. Excuse me. Mary Vincent grew up in Las Vegas, and by her own later accounts and reporting from journalists, she was creative, artistic, and also looking for belonging, like many teenagers of the late 1970s. Mary is one of 7 children, and her father worked as a mechanic and married her mother, a blackjack dealer, while serving in the military. Vincent's parents were going through a very messy divorce, and at 15 years old, Mary ran away from home. And since hitchhiking was very common at the time, dangerous, yes, but it was fairly normalized, and that cultural context matters. Mary was not reckless, but she was just young. And when she was out in Los Angeles visiting her grandpa at 15, she had gotten homesick and missed her family, so she thought she would hitchhike back to Las Vegas. Typically, that's kind of a longer drive, but you would kind of find people driving from LA to Las Vegas a lot. And while she was like traveling and walking along the interstate, she grew tired and started flagging drivers down for a ride, and eventually coming upon Lawrence Singleton, who led her into his vehicle. During the ride, Mary grew suspicious of the 50-year-old when he began purposefully driving the wrong way. And as she was telling him to like pull over and she was trying to open the door, Lawrence had knocked her unconscious with a sledgehammer before she could get away. When she regained consciousness, Singleton tied her up and violently raped her, then proceeded to chop off both of her arms at the forearm with a hatchet. He then threw her down a cliff and drove off, leaving her for dead. Yeah.
Wait, where is this again?
In California. So along the Pacific Coastal Highway.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's terrifying. But what Lawrence didn't account for was Mary's will to live. Mary survived the fall. And you have to think about it like,
oh my God.
Like along the interstate, there's like massive cliffs.
Yeah.
Like huge cliffs. So she fell probably 50 to 100 feet after getting her arms chopped off, like literally at the forearm.
Oh my God.
She survived the fall and managed to climb back up the cliffs despite her injuries. I'm going to say that again. She climbed up the cliff despite her injuries, just pulling herself up by sheer will. She dipped the stumps of her forearms in mud and held them up to slow the bleeding, then attempted to flag down drivers for help. And throughout all of this, against like medical expectation, Mary did not lose consciousness. She was staying alive and making sure that she stayed alive. And
Jesus.
She crawled out of the ravine and she crossed the rough ground and she reached the road again. And passing motorists initially believed they were seeing something impossible. I mean, when you think about it.
Yeah, that is pretty impossible.
Literally impossible.
Oh my gosh.
Emergency responders later confirmed that her survival window was extremely narrow, like measured within minutes. Like she could have died within minutes, but luckily and by the grace of God, she lived.
Wow.
After trudging along Interstate 5 for nearly 3 miles, she was literally just like pulling herself along. She got the attention of a couple who helped her get medical attention. In the hospital, Mary immediately worked with police to help identify and find her attacker, insisting on postponing sleep to finish creating a composite sketch for investigators.
Oh my God, she did not want to miss a thing.
She was determined to find Lawrence.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. Because I don't know if I could have the will to live after that, or even tell them what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's quickly talk about Lawrence, the shithead who did this to her.
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence was in his early 50s, and he had a prior criminal record and a pattern of predatory behavior and the ability to appear harmless to strangers as a 50-year-old man back then. Lawrence is often described in court documents and later reporting as deliberate and methodical, not impulsive. This was not a spontaneous act. It was calculated.
Jesus.
Like, Lawrence allegedly killed more than a dozen women in his lifetime, but he only gets convicted for 2.
Oh, lovely.
So,
go figure.
Yeah, right. And throughout this, while Mary was recovering in the hospital, Mary identified Lawrence to law enforcement, and her testimony was clear, her memory was consistent, and the physical evidence corroborated her account. And so what happens is they go to trial. Thank God. During the trial, Lawrence had said to Mary as she walked past him, as she took to the stand, that he would finish the job once he gets released from prison.
He spoke to her?
Yeah. This is during the 70s, too. Just
in court. In front of other lawyers.
In front of other people, yeah.
What a dipshit.
He's a fucking idiot.
What a
He's
dipshit.
A fucking devil.
Oh my God.
With 0 brains.
Literally.
So she spoke to Lawrence directly, and her statements were consistent with physical evidence, and obviously her account never changed. Mm-hmm. Experts later emphasized that her ability to testify despite catastrophic trauma was instrumental in securing the conviction. Lawrence Singleton was charged with kidnapping, aggravated assault, attempted murder-related offensive under California law of the time. Despite the severity of Mary's injuries and the clear evidence of intent, the legal framework did not mandate life imprisonment.
Get out.
Throughout the trial, the defense attempted to imply Mary's choices were placed at her own fault.
Ugh.
Downplayed intent, saying that he had no intent of killing her.
Throwing her off a cliff
wasn't off her arms,
and
like right at the
wasn't
vein.
The intent of killing her,
and emphasized that Lawrence's eventual departure as abandonment, not murder.
Okay.
I cannot with defense lawyers.
I don't. I've said this 1,000 times. Maybe not on here, but like I could never, ever want to be a defense lawyer because
I'm too jaded.
The compartmentalization that you have to do is astounding.
I agree. Like, there's no way that I could defend someone or like make the victim out to be the problem. Like, excuse me. That's
like, of course, there's always circumstances where like the defendant is like somebody who is not guilty. Like, we need defense attorneys for like those reasons. But for the ones that we know
that are like
really
so evident,
did it and like are actually bad people. I could never. The compartmentalization is just not there for me.
Yeah, there's no way I could do it.
No.
Obviously, those arguments failed legally, but they also influenced the sentencing of Lawrence. Lawrence was sentenced to 14 years in prison.
Oh, lovely.
The presiding judge at the time had said, if I could lock him away for the rest of my life, I would. But unfortunately, under California parole rules at the time, he became eligible for early release, and he served approximately 8 years.
So just about a little more than half.
A little more than half of what he was sentenced.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't love that.
Me neither. And the public was pissed off and outraged.
I'm sure. Yeah. Rightfully so.
About this, and we'll go into it as well. Victim advocates cited the sentence as profoundly inadequate given the degree of injury, the clear intent to kill, and the ongoing threat that he posed, not just for Mary, but for other people that he's around.
Wait, so nothing came out of his comment that he made to her in court?
No.
She couldn't sue him for threatening her. She couldn't file another charge. What the heck?
No, baby. I know.
Oh
and
my God.
Gets worse. He allegedly reduced his time through good behavior and working as a teaching assistant in a prison classroom.
Oh my God.
Lawrence was paroled to Contra Costa County, California, but still no town would accept him.
Yeah, of course.
So he had to live in a trailer on the grounds of San Quentin Prison until his parole ended a year later. According to Time magazine, as authorities attempted to settle him in one Bay Area town after another, angry crowds and Tampa's chapter of Guardian Angels led protests, screamed at him, picketed, and eventually they prevailed. Like, they were able to move him. In Rodeo, about 25 miles northeast of San Francisco, a crowd of approximately 500 local protesters forced officers to move him under armed guard from a hotel room. Authorities tried housing him across the street from Concord City Hall, but that was met with protests and failed too. And he was removed from one apartment in Contra Costa County in a bulletproof vest after 400 residents surrounded the building to protest.
Good for them. Good for the community.
Right. A decision to place him there permanently. The governor of California at the time also got involved and had ordered that Lawrence be placed in a trailer, like I said, on the grounds of San Quentin for the duration of his 1-year parole. And because of the outrage of the sentence, it resulted in legislation supported by Mary herself, which prevents the early release of offenders who have committed a crime in which torture is used. In 1987, Lawrence's parole led to the passage of California's Singleton Bill, which carries a 25 years to life sentence, which I feel like is very fair.
Yeah.
And the leniency of the legal system at the time shocked and outraged many, obviously, with the protests to kick him out of the towns where they were trying to house him. One journalist who interviewed him remarked, "What was most surprising to me, however, was not his sentence. He had worked his crimes around in his mind so completely that they did not warrant punishment at all. Like, he believed like he was never in the wrong."
Ugh. Okay.
Men like that. My God. He's so horrifying, and he's also like really disgusting.
Yeah. I was trying to look up pictures, and then I was like, I couldn't find anything, and I was like, you know what? Obviously, I'm not looking up the right thing. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I'll send you it.
Okay. Yeah.
And right before Lawrence's parole ended, Donald Stahl, the county prosecutor at his trial, said, "I think if anything, he's worse now. He has not taken responsibility. He lives in a bizarre fantasy land and acquits himself each day. He doesn't accept his guilt and won't resolve never to do it again." So we can't even be like, "I will never do this again." I'm sorry, my cat.
I can't hear
right now.
It's okay. I can't hear over my child. Oh, wait, maybe I can. Maybe I think that is my child.
I think you're thinking Einstein is your child.
Yeah.
No.
Listen, one day she made a sound, and my brother was like, "Was that a cat?" And I was like, "That was my child."
No, just the baby.
Yeah. It's just Bean.
Just the Bean.
Oh, that's funny.
And what makes Lawrence particularly notorious is not only what he did to Mary, but what happened next. After his release, he was allowed to live freely, despite the severity of his crime and despite medical evidence of intent to kill. Years later, guess what he did? He murdered another woman in Florida.
Oh my god, we didn't see that coming.
What the fuck? And so Mary once again testified, this time contributing to evidence that led to Lawrence receiving the death penalty. And advocates frequently cite Lawrence as a case study in parole system failure.
Yeah, for sure.
So after all of this, Mary was able to move on with her life.
Good for her. What a boss-ass bitch.
She is now, instead of being Mary Vincent, she is now Mary McGriff. She became an artist, a public speaker, and a fierce advocate for survivors of violent crime. She has stated in interviews that survival is not the end of a story. It is the beginning of another, a much harder one.
Yep, see, she's a boss-ass bitch. Good for her. She's tough.
She's so fucking tough, actually.
Yeah.
And while Lawrence wanted silence, what he created instead was testimony. Mary not only just survived an attack, but the system that failed her the first time. And because she lived and because she spoke, his violence did not end with anonymity. Sorry. It's not
one of those words we just can't say.
It's just hard to say.
Yeah. It's just one of those words.
And during her time in the hospital while she was recovering, she was quickly fitted with prosthetic arms. And technology being what it was in the 1970s, her prosthetics weren't anything fancy, but it was enough to make a statement when she pointed at her attacker during his trial less than 6 months later.
Yes.
Her new arms were functional, but not too practical. What from far away looked like hooks are actually like curved metal, like pincers. So like she can pick up stuff. And each working like an oversized tweezer. And Mary was limited to just moving them up and down. And as an active teenager with tons of hobbies, her hands were her life. And she didn't want the lack of technology standing in her way of doing what she loved to do. And she needed her hands to rotate and be flexible. So she took it upon herself to make improvements to her prosthetics. So she decided to make her own prosthetics.
She's beautiful.
She's a gorgeous lady. And so in an interview, I think from 2023, with the Key Peninsula News, Mary said that she would keep trying to make the prosthetic perfect for her. And she kept going back to the prosthetic place, bringing items with her that she found around the house in hopes that they could do something to make it work for her. The mechanism from an old slot machine that makes the lever go up and down helps give her the flexibility she needs. And she also used a disc from the bottom of a dishwasher that allows her hands to rotate.
Nice. Good for her.
She's so cool. Her arms also have parts from a bike and a stereo. It's just all that types of ingenuity that helped give I'm sorry. It's that type of ingenuity that helps give a double amputee as normal of a life as possible. And she did all of this while a teenager. And so what she uses...
That's insane.
That's crazy. She was like, this doesn't work for me. I'm going to make it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that for her. And what she uses today, though, is pretty much the same as it was more than 40 years ago.
That's insane.
And get this.
Oh, yeah, I see. Like a more recent picture. Yeah, that's crazy.
Her design is so unique that prosthetic companies can work with Mary to make fixes and changes, but they can't replicate it until she patents the product. And that's something that she's working toward currently, but said a patent costs more than $25,000. And she continued in the news article. I'm so happy I found this because this just tells you everything about her. They'll never make a prosthetic device that can do more than mine can, she said. I love what they've done with technology. They have prosthetic arms that look like real arms and hands with fingers that move, but you can't really lift any weight. Plus, you look like a Barbie doll, which is so cute.
That's so true.
It's so true.
Have you ever seen like videos of them? It's so true.
Like it looks a little uncanny valley almost.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, I don't want that. I don't want to look fake. Like she loves what she has.
Yeah, she's like, I'm a survivor. This is what, which like, and you want what you want, like do your own thing. But she's like, this is what I want. I'm a survivor. I need to function, and this is the best way for me to function. Literally. Like, I love that for her.
I know, she's so cool, and she still continues to do everyday tasks. She loves to draw, cook, gardens, drives, and does her own makeup and hair, and also carries groceries. She's a skilled pool player. And threw out the first pitch at a San Francisco Giants game in 1999.
Wow.
The year I was born. She says there are only two things that don't work with her prosthetics, which are computers and cell phones.
Okay, yeah.
She said, I have so much metal in me that I've shut down a whole computer system.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
And she's just like so full of life, which is amazing. And she said, anything you can do, I can do. And I can probably do a lot of things with my hands you can't do with yours.
Oh, I'm like, sure there is.
Yes, Mary. Like, dang, girl.
Yeah.
Among the changes in her life after the attack, she began a career in art. She attended the University of Nevada, Las Vegas as an adult, and she married and subsequently divorced a man named Tom and has 2 sons. She currently lives in Washington with her current husband, Tony McGriff. She also took up art and works with like chalk pastels to create powerfully upbeat women, like female action figures. And she also draws family and individual portraits on commission, and her customized prosthetics are also self-creations, like I mentioned. But she has a special prosthetic for bowling.
That's sick. Good for her.
Fuck yeah. Mary is now living a full life and has outlived her attacker, and she is now dedicated to helping victims of crime and has been a huge advocate since she's a teenager for those who need it most. And
oh my God, that's amazing.
I'm so obsessed with Mary. So if somehow this makes it to Mary, you're my girl crush now.
Yeah, you are a boss, a rock star, like amazing.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
I know. Sorry I didn't let you read it.
I don't know. I thank God you did it. That was so good.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
I just wanted to have like a little story of survival. Because I don't know, they always make me feel good and feel better.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice. I mean, we talk so much about the killers and all of that, and you guys know we always like to showcase like the victims, but like sometimes it's nice to show it mainly from the victims, POV almost, like where it's mainly their center, and doing a survivor just really takes that cake of like being able to really like triumph the women that or victims in period.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, next time, do we tell them what we do next time?
Okay, so do we tell them what one it is? Do we want them to be prepared with us? Like, we'll maybe watch it ahead of time?
Maybe.
Okay. So, Jordan and I have picked a documentary or docuseries to review because I just started watching it and Jordan already watched it. It is, what's it called again? Trust Me, a False I think it's Trust Me, a False Prophet.
Yeah, let me double check.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Trust Me, the False Prophet.
The False Prophet, yeah. Okay. So it's on Netflix. So if you have Netflix and you want to watch it, that is what we are going to be talking about next episode and reviewing. So I am in a cult era right now, apparently. That is like
Cold
where I'm
spring.
lying.
Cold
Yes,
spring,
cold
everybody.
spring. That's where I'm lying right now, and I was like, oh, I really want to do this. Also, there is something else that is currently happening that we are keeping tabs on.
Yes.
We are going to talk about it eventually. I think I'm just waiting a little bit more to gather a little bit more information.
Yeah. And waiting for it to kind of resolve. I want to resolve.
Yeah. Maybe I'll talk about it soon. We'll see. But there is, if you guys have seen stuff going on with a certain reality show, there's something going on.
Yeah.
And it's very big, very serious. And you guys know I like to talk about stuff that has to do with reality TV. So, in a bad light, and highlighting what they do wrong. And this was definitely something that they fucked up hardcore.
They fucked up
on.
so hard.
Yeah. So maybe we'll be talking about that. But anyway, back to the docuseries. So we are going to be reviewing that next episode, and I'm really excited. So if you guys want to watch that ahead of time before next week's episode, then definitely check it out, because that'll be fun. It is another cult, and it's so fucked. It's crazy. So fucked. And the story and the way that this documentary is told is crazy. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now because I don't want to get into it. It is because I'm gonna start going if I just don't stop now. No. So we'll talk. That is what we're gonna be talking about next episode.
Exactly. Okay. So whether it's crime, conspiracy, or just straight up spooky, we're going to keep talking about it. Like, follow, comment, and stay tuned for new episodes each week, because it will just keep getting dark and spooky from here. So stay nosy and stay spooky, and we'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
And if you want your story told, send it in to goreandgossippod@gmail.com. Okay, now bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.